What is up, YouTube? Dots Gaming here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about an upcoming battle royale that I think you guys are really going to like, called Spellbreak, made by Proletariat Inc. So I've shown battle royale games on my channel before that really have had little success, but I think that this one is going to interest you guys a lot since it has a lot of traditional RPG elements in it. Spellbreak breaks away from the traditional shooter model of battle royales that we've pretty much seen so far, and instead focuses on mage combat. But it's more than just lobbing spells at your opponent. There's a ton of customization issues and interesting interactions that you have throughout a game, and you can have different and unique character builds throughout a game with different types of elements that you can wield, utility spells that you can augment your character with, gear that you can pick up, and most importantly, classes that you can choose. But we're going to dive into each of those individual things really quick. This is going to be more of an informational video, and I'm just going to be touching on all the various topics of Spellbreak here today, and I will be doing future videos that dive into these things a little bit deeper. So Spellbreak does its casting through a gauntlet system, where basically the gauntlets are what determine the element that your character has access to and what kinds of spells they'll be able to cast. So for example, you can see on my right hand I have an earth gauntlet, but my left hand is unarmed. So when I'm unarmed, I can basically just cast these little light spells, so I'm not completely without power, but they obviously don't hit as hard as a gauntlet would. Then, if you pick up a gauntlet, that gauntlet will give you access to an actual spell on that hand. So I just picked up a flame gauntlet, and now I can launch fireballs at my opponents. I can also, on my right hand, have a different element gauntlet or the same. And on this one, I chose to run an earth gauntlet, so now I have access to a earth attack where basically my earth shatters the ground. And there's a ton of different combinations for gauntlets that you can have. So my personal favorites are flame and stone, but you can also have access to a poison gauntlet. These are all the different rarities. As you can see, it's legendary, epic, rare, uncommon, and common, just like most MMORPG type games. You also have lightning, you have access to wind, you have access to stone, flame, and frost. Now the cool thing is that all of these different elemental gauntlets have their own power. So for example, as you saw, my fireball was a fireball attack, my flame does a fireball attack, while my earth attack does an attack along the ground. But then all of these gauntlets have this thing called a sorcery, and the sorcery is basically the special attack for that gauntlet. And the cool thing about Spellbreak is that all of the different gauntlets and all of the different elements have interactions with each other. So for example, if you look at my flame gauntlet, it has a flame wall attack, which you can see right here. So when I release this flame wall attack, it will put a wall of flame along here. But what's really cool is that my earth gauntlet can interact with it, and if I toss its sorcery through it, which is basically this big, kind of like this big boulder, it will basically become on fire and be a flaming boulder instead. So the cool thing about this game is that you can combo all the different elements together to get some really nice power. So as you can see, my flame wall and then my gauntlet that turns on fire. You can also do your regular attacks that go through it, and as you can see, my old earth attack now causes fire to go along the ground. So if you combine really good gauntlets together, comboed as well with your different classes, which I'm going to go over a bit later in the video, you can create some really interesting interactions and interesting builds within a game. But there's more than just the classes that, like I said, I'm going to discuss later, and the gauntlets. You also have access to some individual items that will help out your character's power in the form of a necklace, which you can get some sort of power from, a belt, as well as boots. So you will find different rarities of these and things that offer different bonuses throughout the game, and you can pick them up. You also gain access to these things called runes, and runes basically are kind of like a spell that is a utility in some way. So while your gauntlets give you your damaging stuff, your rune gives you utility. So right now I have the blink rune, which allows me to blink forward in a short distance, and that can also be done in the Z axis. So as you can see, if I use blink, I can use it a couple times in quick succession, and as you can see it recharge goes up to 2, 3. I can even blink directly up into the air. So you can see we're gonna have a lot of Z axis gameplay here. And runes, sorcery, and all these stuffs have certain recharge times, so be sure to keep an eye on those and combo them well to make sure that you're able to get as much power out of your build as you want. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about the different classes that Spellbreak has. So as I discussed earlier, we have access to a bunch of different gauntlets, necklaces, belts, boots, runes, and then the thing that brings it all together is your classes. And for me, the classes basically kind of shape how you want to approach each game and the types of items that you're going to be looking for and the build that you're trying to accomplish. And the cool thing is that you're not limited to one class per game. You are able to access 2 different classes per game, but obviously once you select those classes, you cannot change them throughout a game. But you have a lot of different choices and can really customize your playstyle based on what you like. You have something like Bulwark, which is focused on dealing its damage in really close combat. Conduit, which really is going to complement if you choose to go a lightning path and give you a lot of bonuses there. You have Crack Shot, which deals primarily on long-range combat. Frostborn, which is going to promote additional frost gameplay and really help you out there. You have Pyromancer, which is going to make your flame attacks even more powerful. You have Scavenger, which is going to help you with looting items throughout the map. Scholar, which is going to augment the power of your runes and help you with your cooldowns with those runes. You have Stone Shaper, which is going to enhance your earth abilities. Tempest, which is going to give your wind attacks and your wind synergies even more utility. Toxologist, which is going to help out your poison attacks. And Zealot, which basically will reward very aggressive gameplay and help you out in that avenue. So you can combine all of these different classes together, combine 2 classes and combine with the different gauntlets and the runes and all of the different gear that you can wear to make really cool and really interesting and unique builds each time you step into a game. Now, as I just discussed the classes, you're also going to find skill points throughout the world that allow you to rank up all of those different traits and stuff that you get from the classes that I discussed. All of those different scrolls is what they're called in the game. And when you find these skill points throughout the world, you're able to rank up a scroll, and you can see them shown by these little glowing yellow orbs. Or if you look on the map, it'll basically be a ring of yellow dots, and in the center of that is a skill point that you can acquire. But when you do interact with it, it does take some time to actually give you this yellow orb that you can pick up. So when you pick up the skill point, you're able to get a new scroll. So for me right now, as you can see on the right, my 2 classes that I chose in my favorite setup right now is Pyromancer and Scholar. So I can rank up Born of Fire, become immune to fireball and explosions, and heal every 4 HP every 2 seconds while standing in fire. Or I can get Intense Learning and instantly refill a rune charge upon taking 40 total damage. So I can basically select which scroll I want. So I'll choose Born of Fire. And I get that, and you can go by clicking B if you can see your selected scrolls. So as you can see, I have rank 1 in become immune to fireball explosions. I have 2 ranks into players set on fire, deal 6 damage, get a dot on them and get 6 damage dealt to them. Then I also have 2 ranks into fireballs, leave a puddle, but you get my point. So you're throughout a game, basically, whenever you find those skill points or whenever you enter a new circle, you will gain access to a new scroll and a new skill point that allows you to augment your character's power throughout a game. And you're going to get a choice between one of your 2 classes and be able to kind of change your build and what you want, you know, based off of what you need that game, what kind of gauntlets you have, what kind of accessories you're wearing on, and really every game is going to be slightly different, even if you play the same classes and use the same gauntlets. The traits, or excuse me, the scrolls you'll have access to will be a bit different each time. Now, throughout a game of Spellbreak, you start with a maximum amount of health of 100, and you can also have this thing called armor, similar to other BR games, and you start with a max armor limit of, I believe, 75, but the armor and health amount that you can have at max can be augmented and improved from other items that you can find throughout the map. Now, to restore your armor and your health, similarly to other BR games, you can also pick up HP potions as well as armor potions that will restore those over time once you drink one of those. In addition, that bar that I talked about earlier that will go down when you cast spells, that is called your mana. You have a certain amount of mana that you can cast your basic left click and right click spells over time. Your sorceries do not consume any mana, they consume their own cooldown, but you can use so many gauntlet attacks over a period of time, and then after a while you will have to reload, so to speak, or let your mana regenerate back to full. Just like Fortnite and other BR games, you can expect different character skins in the game that all have their different unique look. Some are just the default ones, others you gain from purchasing different packs on Spellbreak's website, but you can be sure to select one of the character skins that you want. I'm definitely sure that in the future they'll have some sort of shop where you'll be able to buy other skins. I'm sure that they will choose to do that. Can't say that for certain, but I'm sure that in the future skins will be purchasable on the shop so that you can customize your character's appearance just like any other BR game. And similarly to all other BR games, you have access to different team game modes. So you can play solo, you can play duo, or you can play in your squad game mode and team up with your friends to fight other squads. It's really up to you. But you can even go solo into squads if you want by choosing team fill or no fill. So it's really up to you based on what game mode you would like to play. Another good thing that Spellbreak has is it has a leaderboard that will show you on the leaderboards once you secure a win. I unfortunately don't have a win yet. I've come really close on the pre-alpha. I've gotten second place a whole bunch of times, but I've not secured a win yet. But what's really cool is that you will be able to see top players as well as your ranking and the number of wins that those players have on the leaderboards, which gives you something really, really cool to strive for. And you'll be able to see the different rankings based on solo, duo, or squad. You will also eventually be able to have access to a guild, which is a feature that's coming soon. You'll also have quests, which I imagine are daily things you need to accomplish. That is another feature that is coming soon. So Spellbreak has a lot of things planned for the future and a lot of new features coming to their game. But that's our first look at Spellbreak today, guys, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. So I, for those of you who do not know, have been accepted into Spellbreak's creator program. So you guys will be seeing a good bit of Spellbreak here on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch stream. And honestly, the game has been a ton of fun. Of all the BRs I've tried, this is by far my favorite, and I really do think you guys are going to like it. So let me know what you think of this informational video in the comment section below. What do you think about Spellbreak? How do you think it's going to do in the BR genre? And is it something you're going to give a try? If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you left a like on it, and for more content like this, as well as some Elder Scrolls Online content and the occasional Dark Souls video, I'd appreciate if you hit that sub button as well as hit the bell to keep notifications on. So I want to thank you all so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm Dots Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.